the Quinn Marr Show.
It's the Quinn Marr Show. My next guest is making his third appearance on this show, which officially makes him family at this point. He's an actor, a writer, a connoisseur of trivia, and someone I'm proud to call a friend. He's also a man who will never say no to prairie fire. You know him as Edwin Venturi from Life with Derek, but to me, nothing tops his legendary role as Boy on Raft in the very first X-Men movie. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome back to the Quinn Marr Show, Danny Maggs. Danny, what's going on, buddy?
All right, 9.5 out of 10 intro. That is
I'll take it.
solid.
We were just talking before we started recording that this is obviously your third time on, and you liked my first intro so much that when I had you on last year, you dogged me. You gave me a shit score on that, so I had to make sure I really worked on this one. And with the prairie fire, I was like, I had asked ChatGPT. I was like, what is that shot called with Tabasco and tequila or whatever, or hot sauce and tequila?
I can't remember. Did I buy that for you, or did you?
No,
buy
you
that
bought
for
it
me?
when we
For
went,
the guy, for
yes,
the Ottawa
for the
fan.
Sens fan, yeah, and they didn't want it because they didn't drink. So you're like, hey, I'll take it, whatever.
We watched a Leaf playoff game together on their last playoff run. And there were two Ottawa fans in the bar, and when the Leafs went up big, I sent them a shot of tequila with Tabasco sauce in it, and they didn't take it.
No, and the waitress brings it back, and she goes, "Yeah, they didn't want it." And you're like, "I'll have it." And I remember Erica was like, "Yeesh."
God, I don't know what.
Buddy, what's going on, dude? I've been. I mean, I saw you back in April, but
yeah,
I haven't had you on the show in over a year, probably about 14 months now. So what's up?
Yeah, I mean, you and I shoot each other catch up sports texts, but we haven't had like a full, hey, what's going on?
No.
It's a lot of status quo for me. Still living in Vancouver, just vibing, doing the trivia thing, working on a bunch of side projects, which translates to like, I don't know, I'm playing a lot of video games and writing trivia. Life is pretty status quo over here for right now. Cool stuff done this year. Year over year, it's always an interesting, this time of year, especially when you're always kind of reviewing how things were. But I would say status quo in my life. Yeah.
In preparation for this episode, I listened back to the first two you're on, and I was just saying to you, the first one, I sounded so green. I feel like I was asking like the most generic questions, and I'm glad that you came back on a year later. But then you come back on, and dude, I sound fucking depressed. I don't know what was wrong. I know I was in a slump, obviously, because that was the episode you gave me some advice. But like, yeah, dude, I sounded like a bum. I don't know. I was down bad.
Hey man, listen, we all go through it. We all got our ups and downs, but you sound great now.
I appreciate that.
I listened to your last episode with my good friend Jeff Biederman just to see what kind of smack he was talking. And I'm prepared. Jeff, you do owe me a phone call. I will probably take initiative on that. Maybe even when we're done recording this today. I got somewhere to be after, but after that, who knows?
There we go. I was like, I have a bunch of episodes banked right now. I got probably maybe 5 or 6 ready to go. And I was like,
Sweet.
I'll probably do Jeff's in the new year, whatever. We finished recording. I was like, nope, that's next week. I recorded it on a Wednesday. It came out the next Tuesday. I was like, that was a killer episode. He was really good. And there's some good traction for it. As we're recording this, this is still the week it was released. So obviously I'm still rolling out clips and everything like that. And no, good traction on that one.
Hell yeah. Love that.
No, he was good. I learned a lot.
He is. Fountain of information. If you haven't listened to that episode, if you're just here for me, Jeff Biederman wrote it was the story out of there on Life with Derek. He was one of like the 2 primary writers on that show, and he is just a font of information on what it's like in kids television in Canada. So if you haven't listened to that episode and you're listening to this one, go back and give Jeff a listen.
I like that. Jeff Biederman, he's the man. So I want to get into first kind of last time you're on, because again, this was last September of 2024. So you were getting back into acting. We'll start there. At that point, you hadn't booked anything yet. Where are we at with that?
Stalled out, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. It felt like the right thing to do at the time, and I certainly have no regrets about diving back into it. I learned a couple things about the acting world that basically, things haven't changed from when I tried to do this during COVID, which is to say, like, things have changed a lot from when I was a kid. Bottom line is, like, right now, this industry, first of all, there's not a whole lot of work in Vancouver, and the thing that frustrates me about this is it's all self-tapes right now. And I've auditioned for a bunch of, and we've done self tapes, we've done stuff I'm really proud of, but then you put it out there, you get no feedback from casting. So you just, you put a ton of work into something and you throw it out there and you're like, yeah, let's get something back on this. You don't hear anything back. So now you second guess yourself. You're like, what was this? Like I put so much effort in and I get nothing. And then it starts to grind on you. So my agency actually pulled out of on-camera stuff because things were so dry. And they're like, you can go find another on-camera agent. And I just haven't. I'm still auditioning for voice stuff here and there. It hasn't felt like a huge priority right now because frankly, the process of auditioning is not something that I'm enjoying. It's different. Like it's one thing to go somewhere for an audition, prep your lines, work with a reader, trained actor on the other side. So you can at least like riff a little bit and have some fun with it. And like, that's the work of this craft. I like the work. But the process around it, like trying to do all of that, you're doing self tapes. I got to find a reader. So I got to get one of my actor friends to come over, but they're all scatterbrained running around and everybody's got stuff going on. And like, it just adds more work to the list of stuff I already have to do in a week versus I have to go somewhere and it's like running an errand to go to an audition. That's way better. And you get like a more satisfying workout, for lack of a better term, when you're auditioning in the room with somebody. So I really just haven't felt like a whole lot of urgency to dive back in. I'm doing some stuff on the periphery, but
yeah, that's an isolating feeling too. When you're literally just doing it basically by yourself. That's like,
yeah.
Right. That sucked. That feels like COVID at that point.
That was, yeah. I mean, like the COVID auditioning was hard because it was the same thing. And it's just like, you also can't read anybody. Like I think I'm okay at being able to read a casting director or something. Like if I've done something and like, I feel like it didn't hit and I'm like, can we try that again? But you can't do that on a self tape. It's just you versus your own taste, which may not be what production's looking for. So I like to ask questions, get context. You can't do that working alone. And not the greatest answer. I mean, I think I said that on our last episode too. I was like, look, it's not the sexiest answer.
Truth, whatever. Yeah. And I like how you brought up the voice acting because I think it was when I had you on the first time, we briefly, because you said you didn't much, talk about Franny's feet where you were voiced on, and then a little bit of Mud Pit, which I didn't really like dive too much into with you before. I didn't really know what it was. And then when I talked to Jeff is where I did the research that
you guys didn't talk about it.
We didn't talk about it at all. I had my notes, but like sometimes I like to load up and have way too much information and like have it there. And then obviously if we're running a little bit late, I kind of cut a couple of things, but no, we never talked about it. So Mud Pit was a show you did after Life with Derek, and it sucked because it made so much sense in the algorithm what we're talking about, half on camera, half CGI. So how you did the voice acting with Mud Pit? Have you done any other voice acting since?
That was like the big one.
Yes, and that was really cool the way they did that because it was about like a band, but then they were a band in a video game. Or were you the guitarist or something?
Okay. Oh man, first of all, there are episodes of Mud Pit available on YouTube. If you,
I was watching some the other day.
Oh my god! So this show, for most of you who have never heard of Mud Pit, this was a Teletoon TV series that. So Jeff Biederman was, and he mentioned his showrunner on Jet Jackson, not Sean, but Bruce Kalish. Bruce Kalish was the showrunner on this show. This was a studio produced, was Cookie Jar in Toronto, who I think had done, I want to say Caillou, but I might be wrong.
I think you're right. That's a Michael Hirsch who was co-founder of Nelvana, and Nelvana bought Cookie Jar or bought something, and they turned it into Cookie Jar. So I think you're right. I think
Michael Hirsch's son was the creator of this show, Jamie, but I don't. Yeah, I might be getting details wrong. It was a decade ago, 15 years old.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So Mud Pit was a series about 4 kids in a rock band, but the twist was that the rock band was a multiplayer online virtual reality game called Musica, and they played. In this video game, there was a cafe they went to that had this whole VR setup, and you would have your instruments, and it was like you go into a room, and it was just like you're in the game, right? Everything's on a big screen, but you play concerts in front of thousands and thousands of people all around the world. So it's like Fortnite mixed with VR, in 2010 when all of this was a blip. Yeah, and Rock Band. So it was like, that was the concept for the show, which is actually super cool.
It is.
Right? Because now you've got potential to do like Hannah Montana stuff. Hey, they're famous, they're not. You had all this cool like CGI action stuff, and for all intents and purposes, this was an animated show. It was 51% animated, which was a significant thing for funding and credits and such, right? So like it was an animated show with live action elements as opposed to a live action show with animated elements, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So now all of this sounds really cool. And I have no problem saying this right now. The show is terrible. It is bad. The story is, we shot it in 2010. I went to school for all of 2011 for screenwriting. So like we wrapped in December. In January, I'm in Vancouver. I spend my whole plan that year is I'm going to go to school for writing, and then I'll return to Toronto and we'll shoot another season of Mud Pit. And in January of 2012, I was back in Toronto and Mud Pit debuted. And 5 minutes into the first episode, I said, we're fucked.
Really?
And it's not good. Don't get me wrong. There's an interview of me on the internet that says this is the most fun I've ever had working on a TV show. And that was true.
Wow.
I had so much fun working on that show. It was well thought out, poorly executed.
Okay.
And there was budget constraints, as Jeff really hit the nail on the head, guys. It's Canadian television, but we were shooting in the CBC building, downtown Toronto. It was a really cool time. Studio shoot, great cast, great crew. Genuinely really enjoyed my time on that show. The end product left a lot to be desired.
How many seasons did you do?
We did, I don't know if they'll call it one season or two, but we did 26 episodes. So it was shot in one batch. They might have, I think, officially called it 2 seasons.
Right.
And it was, you know what? It was a good time. You can go watch the show and judge it for yourself, but there's so much.
A little bit of awkwardness I found in it, maybe. I think is that the right word? Like,
it just didn't make any sense. Like, okay, right before it aired, my sister-in-law, who was a teacher at the time, asked me to like come hang out, talk to the kids for a day, and show them an episode of the show. And there's an episode where my character Mikey gets like trapped in the game, or he's like the only character in the game. So it's kind of like I Am Legend, where you're just like running around. But then meanwhile, the side plot was the rest of the gang was helping the owner of the cafe because he found a treasure map, and he's like digging all around his cafe looking for treasure. And it makes no sense. It really makes no sense.
Well, they couldn't save you. They were busy.
Exactly. And also, like, my character was the asshole, so they didn't ever want to help me.
They didn't care.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So they, I think that's why I had so much fun, is I just got to play a dick. It was great.
That's
it was
funny.
wicked.
That's different from Edwin, because Edwin was just like mischievous.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Dick.
Mikey was supposed to be the cool guy who was like also a bit of an asshole. Like, it was the 3 friends and then one of their brothers, and that was me. And I was just like, yeah. But it was, I showed this episode to the kids, and at the end of the episode, I was like, anybody have any questions? And this kid, he's got to be 9 years old, right? Raises his hand. He's like, that thing with the treasure map, what the hell was that?
Dude, if you got a 9-year-old calling you out like that, then there's an issue. Holy shit.
And it's it was cool to be slightly more of an adult, in hindsight, right? I was a kid. I was 18, but like you felt way more adult, right, than I did on Derek. And working with Jeff was cool in a different capacity. Like, Jeff directed an episode of that show. That's how little money was in that budget. Is like, I don't think they could hire Directors Guild directors. So they, at one point, were like, we need to have Biederman do an episode, but it was a bottle episode, not a bottle episode. Well, they're all kind of bottle episodes. It was a clip episode. It was a clip show. Like, they went back and like pulled other clips from that first season. Like the Simpsons don't do a clip show until season 3 when they have decent material to pull from. It
Oh,
was
is that like
funny.
if you say, oh, remember when Mikey did that, and they go back to, is that what
Yeah.
you mean? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like an old writing trick from back in the day. Like if you had to fill an extra episode slot, but you didn't have scripts, you could just throw together a clip show and use old animation, so you didn't have to pay for new animation.
Oh yeah, they're sitting around the dinner table. They go, Mike, you remember that treasure map? And then it goes back to it.
You get it.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know there was a name for it.
Yeah, they're called clip shows, but that's yeah, it was. Listen, it was a great time, but like that's one that they should do the podcast on. How did this get made? And it was weird. Like even the creator at the end of it was like, this show is not my baby. I gave this baby up for adoption. Like everybody was just, it happened.
Was it something where you just didn't hear, like they just kind of said like, hey, we're not doing anymore? You just didn't hear anything?
Yeah.
Like how did that go?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I got, like I said, I mean, I saw the first episode and I was like, I don't think I'm going to hear about this again. Like it was, and I was just coming off of like studying scripts and writing and was like, there's so much here. And it bothered me that there was so much potential for it. Like I was running around on set all the time being like, we could do this, or like, this doesn't make sense. Like I was calling out logic gaps early, which didn't make me any friends, but it's not like I was wrong. So,
I mean, no, you weren't. Yeah,
right?
That's funny. When I saw you back in the spring, and we can cut this if you want, but I don't know if it was a secret, but you're telling me for Bing Pot that your plan was you were starting to hire way more hosts or more hosts in general, and you did that. I think it was over the summer, you kind of like debuted them in a way.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to talk to that? Speak to that?
Yeah. So okay. If you haven't seen the other episodes and you're here for Quinn, first of all, good on you. He's a great dude. Second of all, I run a trivia company. I run Bing Pot Trivia. We're a relatively small company in Vancouver with a couple shows in Toronto. And we're trivia shows and trivia nights that are not boring, I think is the best way to put it. When you have guys that sit there, answer questions or read questions into a microphone, there's no ambience and atmosphere in the room. Great. What it means is expanding is a little bit more difficult. Because you've got to get the right hosts. So I've been keeping an eye out for individuals that know the show, know the game, and have that presence. Presence is a big word. So it's not like I've expanded into an entire army of hosts, but we've been developing the team. So you're probably most familiar with Celine, who's been creeping up on the Instagram. Yes. She is a wonderful talent. She is a circus performer. She's currently in New Zealand working with a traveling circus. She does fire spinning and certain acrobatics and stilt walking, and she is phenomenal. She's been playing trivia with me for about a year, and eventually it was like, well, I need another host in this space. She expressed some interest, and I said, okay, let's do it. So we're getting her on board. I have a new guy, Josh, who I'm getting on board. Johnny in Toronto is looking for more shows. Nick in Toronto is looking to start ramping up some expansion. The team is functioning well. And a shout out, I missed Declan. I've got Declan out here too, that's been running shows in New West for a while. And my buddy Ryan, who doesn't have a show at the moment, but we just started to get him going a little bit. So building a team is cool, making sure that it's the right people to curate a vibe in a room. Yeah, it's been going pretty good.
How do you vet them then? Is it most of the time it's people you just known for a little bit that then can kind of do the job? Like, do you ever make them like do like a practice run? Like how
the way that I would do it is like, so I put out feelers and I said, hey, we're looking for hosts. Is there anybody who's interested? Scan this QR code. Tell me why you're interested, right? And I got a bunch of people chime in. Okay, cool. And then you got to ask them, hey, are you really serious about this? And then I ran auditions where Celine was the only one who ended up actually coming through, because the rest of the people that had like put their names forward, it was kind of a test. Like I sent them a deck and I was like, great, we're just going to have you come in and just present this to me. And yeah, that was designed to be intimidating, because anybody who's like, oh, wow, I'm not ready for this. Okay, cool. If you don't think you're ready for it, chill out. That's okay.
You wouldn't want them then.
Well, I mean, I'll keep you in the back of my mind, right? But if I'm like, because the assignment is explain these games, and if you don't know these games because you haven't been coming, then you're not ready. No. So, but Celine shows up and it's great, and then it's not really an audition, so to speak. It's more of like a a baseline assessment, if you will. Like anybody who's going to do this, I know that you're going to get better 4-6 weeks down the line, right? So I'm not. This is a marathon. We run programming in 13 to 15 week sprints. So how you are today in your first season on week 1, 13 weeks later, you're going to be way better at this. And I know that. So I don't need you to be perfect right away, right? An audience will grow with you. And that's what we do. We grow audiences in these rooms. We grow community around these venues that we work with. So it's a baseline assessment. Where are you today? So I know how to coach you moving forward.
I like
Right?
that. And I feel like you've probably only gotten better at the whole vetting process over the years anyways. Did you kind of feel like, maybe nervous isn't the right word, but like you didn't, this is your baby. It's kind of, was it tough to put it in other people's hands?
The first time yes, is the short answer. The first time I did it, was actually, it was years ago. It was like 2018 when I stopped hosting at TMU. My schedule got full. I had to find a replacement. And I reached out to a lovely dude, Jacob, who I'd only known once or twice from coming to my trivia shows at TMU. Like, I think he'd only ever been there twice, but he made such an impression that I reached out to him and I was like, got any interest in hosting? And then he jumped on it. And it's nervous the nerves are when you have to, like, you're used to a cadence with your delivery. Or like for me, when I present these shows, like there's a certain way. And then separating that, me the host, from me the writer, and me the producer behind the scenes is in the back of my mind. I always knew that this show could be designed for other people to be running. But to actually go out and do it, no, it's not nerves.
No. You lived almost in 10 years since you started this, because you told me that it was 2016, maybe more so 2017, but like almost a decade's wild, dude.
Yeah. I don't know.
You're old, bro. You're old.
I think the expression is I'm washed. It's I think that's the one to use. I'm washed. I'm unk. I'm whatever you want to. I got unked for the first time a couple weeks ago. I got a couple of like 20-something college kids that are hanging out at Bing Pot, and I was talking to them after the show, and I was just telling them, like, they were asking me questions about me and stuff, and I was talking to them, and like one of them is her first time. She's clearly not impressed, and she goes and like she calls me Unk, and then I had to pretend like I didn't know what it meant just to screw with her. And then eventually I got her to break and be like, I meant you're old. And I'm like, yeah, I know what you meant.
Dude, I got unked not that long ago, like a month ago, because I was talking about Hillary Duff, and this person was like, who's that? I said, what? They're like, well, you're Unk, bro. I said, no, I think she's a pretty universally known person. Yeah,
I mean, maybe
she's also my number one celebrity crush, and she always will be. So maybe that's why.
Are you going to see her at History?
Dude, I'm going to jump off a cliff. I was so depressed. I couldn't. I was in the queue, dude. I was like, I joined like 2 hours beforehand. I'm sitting there in there. And then it finally throws me in. 7,000 people ahead of me. The fucking place holds 2,000. I was so mad.
You're cooked. Listen,
and that was pre-sale. Then I tried again a week later for regular sale and did it again.
My buddy, my sister, she was so sad she couldn't get tickets. I said, just figure it out, manifest it. You'll find a way. Somebody slipped her a ticket. She got it. So she's going. Dude. You just got to be positive, bro.
Apparently, geez Louise, I'm rattled. And it's so funny because like, and I love her, but she came out with like a video after like everything sold out, and she goes, "Oh, this is so unexpected." Blah blah. I said,
"It was expected."
Yeah,
guys, Erica, it's a test. But I told my sister she's coming back. She's gonna do it again. Watch.
Oh, she'll do a full actual stadium tour.
Clip
but
this.
7 million followers on Instagram, and that was unexpected. Come on.
Clip this. She'll be back. This is not a one and done situation. This is a test run to prove the feasibility before they do the big one. Come on, guys.
It's been time since she's been around, but like she should have known. That was a little silly. You again, this is kind of going through things that we had talked about that I kind of want updates on. So, the second episode you're on, you mentioned that right around when I had you on for the first time, just coincidentally, you were kind of in a weird time in your life. You were like, for lack of a better word, finding yourself. So we chatted about that.
Did I find myself?
Yeah, exactly. So we talked about that last year, and like you obviously it sounded like, and you mentioned you're in a much better place of like that whole area. But like, where are you now? Another 14 months later. I love this annual thing. We gotta do this every year, by the way.
It's not bad. No, it's cool. It's a good record for me, right? Just to say like, oh, this is the progression of my life. I'm still meandering. like, okay, so where I am right now, this year, it's funny because as much as I was like, no, we're going to double down on Bing Pot, this year things came up that made me meander, that made me kind of not move away from it, but maybe question, like just question my role in it. And I'm building infrastructure around it. And I've seen some amazing growth on Bing Pot where, like, Nick is now part of the writing team in a much more formal capacity or a much more structured capacity, where the last couple of weeks, he's got Christmas off. I've been writing alone, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need my team. Like, you need, like, the idea is now the show. This is what's crazy is the show started to feel like, in a weird way, a little less like Bing Pot without the rest of the team, which is perfect. Like, that's a sign that the process is working. But there's moments of introspection on that. Anyway, I was doing that. I did take a non Bing Pot job this year. I was working for a sports agency, a startup. It didn't take, but that was early in this year. So meandered kind of away into like, oh, maybe I just, that was another reason to set up the infrastructure for Bing Pot so that if I had to hand stuff off, we could do that. But that didn't pan out. And then I was like, well, again, you do this all the time. I do this all the time where I get curious about other things. And I'm like, well, I'm running this thing. It's like, nobody's going to get mad at me if I just, put a little less effort in over here and go over there. And then you reap what you sow. So things take a little longer.
You don't like being comfortable, I've noticed. You like getting out of your comfort zone and doing literally fucking anything.
I think, no, the trick is I'm never comfortable. So I'm constantly seeking comfort in
and
things.
it's not working.
Right. And nothing's working. And then, look in the mirror and be like, maybe you should just focus on one thing.
What's the common denominator at that point?
Yeah,
right?
it's me. It's me. Like, I like telling people, like, I live in a great apartment. I have a roommate. I've had 7 roommates in 4 years. It might be me.
Are you Sheldon from Big Bang Theory? What kind of roommate are you, dude? Do you have like rules? Like, what do you do?
I decline to answer that question.
Oh, God, you're a rule roommate guy, dude.
No, well, I have been. It's like, it's a, I've been the common denominator in the apartment. So, like, as different roommates come and go, like, eventually it's not even about like sharing a space anymore. It's like, I'm the one that's been here. Like, now this is my castle and I'm just looking for, the right tenant type thing. And it's crazy. I got a great roommate now. His name's Dave. He's like the Alfred to my Batman. It's great. He says that too. I'm in his phone as Bruce Wayne. He's in my phone as Alfred.
That's sick.
He's embracing it. It's great.
I love that.
Anyway, the point is, I don't like being comfortable. So, where are we now? There are certain things that are starting to feel stable, which is good. Like, the goal, because of that sports job that I had, the goal was get Bing Pot stable so that I can leave operations in Vancouver if I had to go somewhere else. So I'm going to try and float that. Like, this summer, I may be back in Toronto, just to see what Bing Pot floats like, with other people running the rooms.
Would you run it here though? Because I know you have some here.
Yeah, I mean, I would. The goal would be to try and expand some things in Toronto for Johnny and Nick.
Gotcha.
And then come back and pick things back up in Vancouver, or just kind of see what can grow. Like, I'm very open-minded, but I think the real thing that we're going to try and focus on, that I can take the reins on, is Instagram content. So the plan is finally, and I've been like, this has been on the back burner for a couple years, just kind of while I've been fleshing out what I want it to look like and put the effort in. I'm gonna do like little bite-sized reels of trivia questions for Instagram. And I think the best way, what I've learned about myself and the things that I don't like to do, is that the best way for me to find more gigs, more shows, more events, is to really hammer the content stream as opposed to cold calling.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I've always had, this is not a brag. This is not a flex. This is like an admission.
An admission? No.
An admission? I think admission is the word.
Admission is the word. I don't know. I'm dumb.
You're great, Quinn. This is an admission of fault. Cold calling is not, it's not something I'm good at, and it's something I genuinely despise.
Also 2025. I don't want to chirp you about like why cold calling 2025. I don't think is a move.
No, it's a move. It's a move. It is. Yeah, cold outreach is the move. It's always the move, and it's just something that rocks me in my core, and I hate that about myself, and I will, instead of trying to fix it, look for ways around it. The point is, more people just need to see my face doing trivia, and more people need to see the brand, and I think I've got a good formula set up here that if I can actually execute on it, we'll get some good content out there.
I'm not saying this like kiss your ass or anything, but I definitely think this summer you upped the social media game. Like it wasn't like I know you always post that one like saying like, hey, trivia tonight type thing, and you I think you've done that for a while, but like the videos, I think you really stepped
I
up.
don't even get credit for that. I shouldn't get credit for that. The videos that you're talking about are the ones for our venue Rogue. A little sad news. Rogue Broadway is actually closing. It will be closed by the time this episode airs. But we're moving. They've got another one downtown Vancouver, and so we're going over there.
Nice.
But their social media team, shout out to Papaya Marketing in Vancouver. They are the ones that have handled the production of all that marketing content. And Rogue/Steamworks, they have empowered that. All I got to do is show up with Celine, and we can do our thing, which is just be fun and perform. And the Papaya team cuts everything. They know what'll get some traction. They'll crank it out. So I've been very lucky to work with some good people.
Dude. Oh my god, having someone do that for you, holy, that's a dream of mine.
Well, team, right? Like,
even more so. Holy,
and we like working with each other because they don't have to give me much, for me to just start going. And but I need a little bit to get going, and the stuff they give me is perfect. Yeah, it's like it's like give me a template, an outline, then just let us kind of fill in the connect the dots, right? So the Instagram stuff's been a lot of fun. We'll do a whole bunch of new stuff in the new year, and we'll run from there.
And that stuff you could easily bank too, over a month's worth.
Yeah,
you have a schedule of where you're going to be at on a certain day. You can bank those easily,
and that's separate from what I'm talking about. In terms of content, like what I'm trying to do is little bite-sized stuff for your scroll. That when you get it, you just kind of eventually see my face, and I think I've got something figured out, but I have to test it.
Okay, I'm
been developing it for a bit, and now I need to actually just shoot it, do a day, shoot 30 of them, and crank them all out for a month and see what happens.
Dude, I've always said, and I'm getting close to doing this, but I would love just one full day of me just doing podcasts, like 8 hours, no joke, and have them all, crank them all out. Like last week was the closest I've gotten to that. Is I did 3 in a row last week. Let's say, like normally there's some days in between, but like last week was a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It was bang, bang, bang type things. But yeah, like that's something like that. Like that's a dream of mine. Give me one full day where I go back to back to back to back type thing.
Yeah, I'm all
about it.
I
just got to keep changing my shirt so no one thinks
nobody really knows
every day, right?
Yeah.
You talked about like bits quickly, and I know this isn't that, but you talked about comedy and doing stand-up last year. Where are you at with that?
The comedy thing is interesting. The more time I spent in it, similar to the acting thing, I like being on stage. I like the work. It's actually the most nerve-wracking thing in the world, but I do like it. Yeah. It is. I did another interview a little while ago, and I told the guy, do it, because once you do it the first time, it does get easier, and you're over the hump. But the nerves don't go away. Like there's, it's still intimidating to go up on stage and be like, all right, my goal is to make these people laugh.
That's kind of like me with this show. I mean, not when I have you on, it's literally I'm literally talking to my buddy, but like when most of the time, it's like right before I'm about, it's that 5 minutes right before I'm about to go on. I'm sitting here waiting for the guests to join. It's like boom, 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 boom. But then when I go type thing.
Yeah.
It sounds like that's kind of maybe what's like with you. Like once you're up on stage, you're good. It's just like the nerves beforehand.
Yeah. The issue I have with stand-up is the infrastructure. So similar to how it's acting and auditioning, I don't like the process. I don't like that kind of work. I like the work. I don't like the process around the work, which is it really bugs me. Like you gotta, in the stand-up comedy scene, you gotta go, you gotta do the open mics. Really for networking more than anybody else, or anything else. You have to be there. That schedule conflicts with what I do with Bing Pot. So I can't be at the open mics because I'm running my own shows for Bing Pot. I can find time and space, but half the time, you're trying to get on somebody's mic. It's a bucket. It's a lottery. It's random. They don't have yeah, if they don't pull your name, tough cookies. Like that's it. And I just don't have the patience for it. Which is upsetting, right? But I also am the kind of person that needs to write for an occasion. Like I don't sit there writing jokes on jokes on jokes unless I have like a show or a showcase coming up. And then I'll write for that and I'll test stuff out beforehand and I'll workshop a bunch of stuff in my own process. And, like when I've done classes that end and culminate in showcases, the end product is usually pretty good. Because of that, there's a show that I'm writing to, but in an open mic kind of free space, not so much. So my solution is in the new year, among the other things we're doing, we're going to start producing some comedy.
Ooh, okay.
Where all of a sudden I can get the infrastructure crap out of the way because I'll create my own infrastructure for it. The benefit that I have is we've got a Bing Pod audience that, have been asking, hey, do you do anything else? Where do we see you do stand up? Where do we see you? And I bring people out and I can do that, but it'll put more control in me. And I know how to produce and put things together for venues. And I know enough comedians at this point that I can put an actual roster of quality individuals together. So that is the outlook.
That is so smart, dude, because you're literally doing what you did with trivia, and all these things about trivia you didn't like, so you created your own. All these things about comedy, so you're stand up, you're gonna create your own. You are a little fucking genius sometimes, huh?
I certainly not call me genius. I am entrepreneurial. Other people would call that uncooperative. There are other words for it. I've been called difficult. Well, I just see flaws, right? Like going back to what I was saying about Mud Pit, like, there were so many cracks while we were filming and nobody seemed to want to hear it, which
whatever.
Like now I kind of get, but at the time when you're 18, you're like, aren't we trying to make just a great show? Aren't we trying to put together like just a quality product? Don't we want to do everything we can to make this good? And no, that is absolutely not the vibe.
You mentioned about how you did another interview recently with one, you're cheating on me, so you're a dick.
Well,
and the
you're
other
not
thing
the only podcast in my life, Quinn.
Apparently, I'm hurt. What was the one that you did? Was it the one you did recently? What was the thing you kept saying in the one?
Oh my God. So like,
what was it? You know what I'm talking about?
You asked me a question, which is like, I imagine you're being asked about your legacy, right? At the age of 34. And you're like, okay, am I dying next week? Nobody asked. And I was thinking about that because it's not even about figuring out a legacy. It's about thinking about like, what am I really like? Because, if I meander all the time and if we look at the consistencies, okay, what are the consistencies? My life is consistently trivia. It's being recognized at the most inopportune times from something I did when I was a teenager. Like that is my life. That is my life. I've got a professional resume that makes no sense. So what is this? And I did really like my answer when I thought about it. And he even alluded to it. He's like, you seem to really be bringing people together. And I was like, honestly, that's it. Bringing people together. And then, yes, in the clip, I go on and on and on about that, bringing people together.
You said so, like 4 times.
Yeah, the way it was edited, I was like, oh boy, what was going on? I mean, I was working it out on the fly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I changed my Instagram bio and now it says I bring people together. But
I mean, hey, it's a fact.
But it's true. My role, like even in my own family, like I am, and I've always been the glue guy. I've been the like guys,
the monarch,
not the dictator. Despite what some of my other roommates might say, but the glue guy, the guy that's like, no, don't leave the team. Like we need you. Yeah. Like how do we keep everybody together and happy? And sometimes you're working, you're climbing uphill for that, right? It's not worth the trouble. But even the life with Derek role, Edwin's the glue guy, middleman. Mm-hmm. Like Derek's moving to Spain, so Edwin puts together the roast of Derek so that we give him a send off and keep it all together and cohesive and show him how much we like it. You know what I mean? Like there is authenticity in that.
I meant to send this to you a few months ago, but I saw a TikTok of you. Did you see this TikTok of you were at like a bar mitzvah or a wedding?
I was emceeing a wedding.
I
was emceeing a wedding.
It was a clip from Jesse when it goes, Adam Sandler, what are you doing here? Figure who that was? Did you know that person?
I met that person after, but I didn't know that they were recording at the time. So like I was leaving the wedding and these people run up to me and they're like, we just want to say hi, we love you. And it was then afterwards, like I got home and somebody sent me this TikTok and I'm like, oh great. And then I love to go like lurk in the comments. I don't have I locked out of my TikTok account right now, which is a phone number got switched and now I can't 2FA my account and support won't help me. And I can't comment. So now I just, have like a burner and I'm in the comments just lurking. And then it's great because then I see people that, come play trivia with me that didn't know that I was on TV, which is great. I love that. Because not everybody knows, Quinn. There's a whole generation of people who have no idea what life is.
You're not Daniel Magner anymore. You're Danny Mags.
Okay, first of all, the reason I'm Danny Mags is because people keep fucking up my last name. It's Magdur with a D.
Magdur. Oh, there you go. See? Okay, so like me.
Good God, man. What are you doing? Get it together. I've been
I know you're Danny Mags, man. I never talked to you when you were
That's
Daniel.
why. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, but this is what I do. I get called out for stuff.
It's funny that you said about creeping the comments because I looked at the comments quickly and when I saw one person go, oh my God, he used to talk to my friend, like they almost dated or something like that. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, there's a few people that say things like that.
You're a playboy, buddy.
I am. Yeah. Let's go with that word. Playboy is a lot better than the other word I get.
There you go. Now I want to preface this by saying I know you don't watch children's TV anymore or teen shows anymore. But being who you are, I want to get your take on the current state of children television shows.
Yeah. And I listened to that whole episode with Jeff, and like I said, fountain of information on what this industry is. Jeff said a lot of stuff that resonated. In the state of Canadian kids TV, the state of kids TV in general, I got nephews, and they're all very different. I got 5 nephews. I got 9 nephews, but
oh my God,
I got a big family. I got 9 nephews. My oldest sister has 5 kids, 5 boys. The oldest is 18 and a half. The youngest is, what year are we in? The youngest is 9. And they all watch different things. It's a sporty household. So a lot of these kids are watching sports, playing Pokemon. The oldest one would never have watched Family Channel. The second oldest one was all about that kind of stuff. I don't know what kids TV is supposed to be anymore. I think cartoons are fun. I like cartoons. I like cartoons as an adult. I know way more adults that go off about cartoons than kids. It's a different media landscape in a world of TikTok and Fortnite and YouTube. Jeff put it really well when he's talking about his 15-year-old daughter. Would she watch Life with Derek the same way? Probably not. I don't know.
And I mentioned that too about my nephew. Like my nephew's 7, and like that guy just loves YouTube, right? Like he loves Mr. Beast. Like if I got him, actually, that's 2 summers ago. I got him to watch Vacation with Derek with my wife and I, and he kind of paid attention. And he was only 5 at the time, but like 99.99% of the time, it's YouTube.
Yeah, attention spans I worry about. And this is coming from a guy with rampant ADHD. Like I worry. I reflect on why I am the way I am and how much of it had to do with being handed like a Game Boy at the age of 5. And I do worry a little bit, if we're frying attention spans and we're putting the wrong content in front of people. And that's where I'm really feeling like Unc, right? Where it's like, oh man, kids these days are ruined.
My nephew called me sus the other day, and he's 7.
That's fine.
He said I was being sus because he was talking about all his friends, and I was like, "Oh, do you have any like friends that are girls?" He goes, "You're sus, bro." I said, "Why are you calling me that, dude? You're 7."
Because you're trying to poke around his personal life. He's a private dude. Don't be sus, Unc.
Apparently, I was like, "You shouldn't know what that word is, man."
Why not?
Because he's 7.
So
I was gonna ask you, okay, so Family Channel specific, and I texted you that day that they came out with them getting shut down. Like, is that kind of like not the end, because not like Family Channel's Disney Channel, but like, are we closer to the end of what we knew was TV? Children's TV?
I think if you didn't think we were heading in that direction.
Beforehand, you mean, or now?
Well, I mean, I think given the landscape, it's not surprising that Family Channel is no more.
Just crazy, though, because that's a channel that was around a long time.
I get it's sad, but it doesn't. You've just said it. It's all YouTube, TikTok, Fortnite.
I mean, Jeff said he was producing and creating a show like for TikTok kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of things creeping up, vertical shorts, melodramatic stuff. Like that's where everything's being ported to. I'm hearing, and I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok regardless, but I'm hearing that Life with Derek is doing rounds on TikTok. Like there's a Life with Derek TikTok channel, and it's just clips of the show that are getting uploaded, and that's cool. Like, but that's how media is consumed.
Right.
So
and yeah, you can watch, like, people watch full episodes and stuff. Like I'll catch like, a random episode of this show, and then I'll start watching. I'm like, why am I watching this on my phone right now?
yeah, I've done I've tried to get back into like TV. Like I mean just the practice
Cable?
of watching TV. Yeah, like we'll flip on we'll just flip on a channel like sci-fi or like it could just be some random channel airing sitcoms. I don't even know what they are anymore. I just like, oh, this is on or this movie's on. And then you just like click it and you let it go. It's less choice, which I think is more liberating.
We went too far the other way.
Yeah, like the problem is like we've done this, you've done this, anybody listening to this has done this, where you sit down to watch Netflix, you've got like a big bowl of food, right? And you're like, let me just figure out what to watch. And 30 minutes later, you haven't decided your food's cold, right? Because there's too much choice. You know, it's like if you're on Tinder or pick an app, right? And they should, it's like you're looking for perfect every time, as opposed to like if there were just 5 people and you're just like, pick your favorite out of the 5. That's all you get, bud. Like, that's the whole game, right? Then it's like, it's going to force you to be selective. So there's no forcing us to be selective. So I do like just putting stuff on in the background and just letting it go. And then you're like, oh, I'm watching this. That's delightful. And you're just getting these little instances of chaos that feels more like living.
I'm terrible with just being on my phone too much in general, but even more so, like even now when I'm watching like Leafs games or like just watching TV in general or a movie, I'm always scrolling on my phone, man. It's so bad, which is weird that you would think as you grow up you'd get better, because I wasn't like this when I was a kid. Obviously, technology is different.
No, you
on
grew
my
up to get
LG
worse.
room or 2, I wasn't able to do this stuff. But
well, it's just a dopamine hit. It's no different than vaping or just looking for something to get you going. Like it's we all need to get outside and touch grass.
Absolutely, 100%.
So maybe the future of kids TV with the kids in mind. If we're thinking for the children, okay, we're just going to start doing free plays in the park, sketches, get them outside, make them watch actual human beings. I think we're going to start moving in a direction where live in-person entertainment is important. And that's why I think what Bing Pot does is still valuable.
100%. I got beef with you. I forgot to tell you this. So when Jeff was on, he mentioned about Life with Derek, again, a show that it was going to be a primetime show. I think it was on CTV.
Yeah.
I've had you on this show twice. This is the 3rd time. You had never to mention this to me, not once. All the talks we have ever had of Life with Derek. How was this never brought up?
Why did it matter?
What do you mean, dude? I had you on to talk about that stuff. There was table reads and everything.
So what? There was a table read. I don't know how close this show ever was to being made. And if you go back and listen to everything Jeff told you, I don't know that he ever insinuated it was so close to being made. They wrote a script. They got us together for a table read.
I feel like table reads, I mean, duh, you know more than me, but I feel like a table read means you're pretty close, no?
Probably. One second. Let me see this thing.
I just feel like, especially the fact that everybody was back and you're doing the table read, I was like, oh shit, okay. Huh.
Where is this thing? I know it's...
And I love the show. I love how like simple the show title was too, Life with Derek again.
Yeah. I'm looking for the script.
Shut up. You don't have the script.
Of course I have the script.
What?
Emails don't get deleted.
Dude,
emails get archived.
Can you please send me a screenshot of that just to look at myself? What do you think? I'm going to put it on fucking Instagram?
You think I care? What's anybody going to do? If that's the move that gets Shaftesbury to reach out and say, hey, we need to have a stern talking to with you. I'm like, great. I've been waiting for you to call me.
Where were you 2 years ago?
Yeah. No, it's yeah, I have it. So during the 20th anniversary of Life with Derek, so the live stream, which by the way was a really good time. And
that was really cool, dude. I watched, like, I was obviously on there when you and Jordy were on there, but then later after it was done, I had skimmed through to listen to like Michael and Ashley and John and Joy and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is really sick. And they were on there for 12 hours or something like that.
They did. It was really cool. I sent them the script. They have it.
Bro, send it to
It's
me.
out in the open.
You have my email. Send it to me.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll go read it after this over dinner while I'm eating.
I think you have to do a 12-hour appreciative live stream for me to
Just
be
about
like,
you, though.
know,
No,
you
just
deserve
about
it.
Edwin. Everything I
No.
love about Edwin.
I mean, we can go on for days about that. 12 hours is hardly enough time.
Do you remember that this commercial comes up? Because again, I mean, dude, I'm odd. Obviously, look at the show I do, but I'll go back and watch like either like YTV commercials and bumpers or Family Channel commercials and bumpers. And one came up when I was watching the other day. Do you remember what the commercial? I don't know if you ever saw it when it was just about Edwin, about being a player and he's smart. And do you know what
Super
I'm
sleuth.
talking about?
Oh, I know.
I know. You're like Mr. Suave guy.
Yeah, and then but they show me like the one that I got a lot of track was there's an episode where I get like the super sleuth detective kit, and it's when I'm trying to solve the mystery of who dented the car.
When Casey and Derek went out to a party.
Well, they tried to go out to the party, but instead George's car was blocking the driveway, and they didn't know, so Derek backs up into the car, and then there's a whole thing. And I'm doing a Columbo impression, and but they took like pieces of that episode and put it into a huge promo, and I never heard the end of it, buddy. Everyone's running up to me. Oh my god, it's the super sleuth! Damn it! That's what you need. That's what you need when you're trying to get laid in high school, right? You've got girls running up to you to give you a hug, being like, "Super sleuth, kill me."
You're like Nancy Drew. Every year, and Eric and I did this the other day. We watch the Life with Derek, the Christmas episode, and I think being like friends with you more now, it gets weirder every time I watch the show now.
It should. Different. No, because then you really get to understand that I was never acting.
Yeah, that's literally you. Yeah,
it is.
I love that episode. When Edwin and Marty were like, "No presents," and they were so fucking rattled.
Well, yeah, wouldn't you?
Great episode. I love that episode. I wish they did a Christmas movie.
Maybe that would be the occasion to get us all back together.
There we go. I'm going to message Jeff.
I'll get right on it. I will get right on it. But the 20-year live stream was really cool. There's something that is kind of I feel as though something has woken up because of that 20th anniversary live stream. Like, I don't know. I mean, to hear Jeff on your show say, "Hey, I want to bring these characters back together. I want to give them another chance to do this whole thing as a family." I don't even know if that's a good idea. But I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat.
You don't sewer yourself.
I'm not sewering myself. I don't like. What's the point? I've said this to you in other episodes, I'm sure. Like, if you're gonna do it, what's the purpose? If you're gonna make Life with Derek, Life with Luca, if you're gonna create that show, what was the point? Because if it's for a new younger audience, right? Create new characters
to set up something.
If it's for the older audience, why focus on their kids?
Yeah, it didn't seem like much direction because like it sounded like that they thought about maybe having the movie and then the movie was going to turn into a show. Now they have no idea if that's ever going to happen. So it's like,
probably not,
what was the direction you were going? And you're right. Like if it was for people like me, why are the 3 other kids not in it? If it's for new kids, perfect. And that's why.
But then why do you need Casey and Derek to be a part of it? Why can't you just create new characters?
They're doing that with Camp Rock as well. With the 3rd Camp Rock's coming out, the Jonas Brothers are in it, but there's a new generation. It's like to hand it off and then go do 3 more.
Why do you need to hand it off? So the only reason it would be well, maybe, but the reason would be you get the older generation of fans, right, to segue it to the younger kids. Like that's the handoff. Mm-hmm. But at that point, you've got to do right by the older generation of fans, which was the misstep. Anyway, point is, what would be the point in bringing this back and doing this all as another Derek? But what I think it's getting to, I think we all had this moment. I definitely felt this moment, and it's not like this was the first time I'd ever said it, but even listening to Jeff talk to you, like I think because we had all of this reflection on what Life with Derek was, that we've all kind of acknowledged this is the best product we've ever worked on, like career-wise. I'm sorry, you can't. I mean, maybe not Jordy.
That's tough, dude. Degrassi, that's tough.
And Jordy, I think, won an Emmy for Degrassi. Like, she is okay. She's the exception.
Yeah.
And Joy and John are exceptions in their own right because they've had incredible careers that started before Life with Derek and continued far after. But in terms of the most well-produced piece of content, if that's what you want to reduce Derek to, like, we, I think, took each other for granted. And what it did for me filming Derek was like created this unrealistic standard for everything else I went into. Where it was like that show was so tightly produced. It was efficient. I mean, like, our first ADs might say otherwise, now, but like, dude, we were filming 2 episodes every 5 days on a tight schedule. It was getting done. There was so much that had to be juggled. The end product was amazing to have resonated with people for this long. Like, Jeff said it many times, it was the team. Like, you can't have given everything. You can't have given all the credit to the actors. You can't have given all the credit to the writers, the producers that put together the bumpers, the sound effects, like everything being organized by a very, very strong production team. Like, I think we're all kind of looking at that and thinking, these are the people we should be working with again. And it's just crazy that it takes so much time. So I think we're all kind of dancing around that. And even if we didn't do anything with the exact same characters, like, I think this team should be reassembled because our track record is pretty good.
It didn't go 70 episodes as the only family channel to do so for a show for a reason. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a coincidence that happened.
No, it was a lot of talent from a lot of people and a little bit of luck, as always is the case. And looking back, and it's like, I mean, I in my career have always wanted to work with people like that. The hardest thing for me, and there's a few, but the hardest things are when I work with people that I feel like just are not, I can't share this perspective with people in a way that they would understand. But I was 14 years old on that set, watching everything done so well that my standard is pretty high.
I was gonna say, it's like you've been chasing it ever since.
But I also know that I can't do it alone, right? Because the show wasn't built by one person. You can't do it with one person. So now I've got to find a team of crazy talented people who don't think I'm out to lunch. Like,
good luck. No,
yeah, exactly.
And it kind of shows. I mean, the last time you're on, you went on Rotten Tomatoes and checked the scores of that movie. It didn't do too well. So, I mean, I think the common denominator is you all weren't together. And I know we're beating a dead horse on that one, but it's literally
no, that's in the past. But it's there's something there. So I think what's really cool is that we've embraced that, and I would like to see if in 2026 that turns into anything else.
And I like that there's more discussion on it. And I'm not even just talking about myself, but like that live stream, I think, like you just mentioned, really, really helped. The fact that they got everyone literally besides Ariel was on that thing. So
and we tried.
Everyone's talking.
Ariel was kind of MIA. I think we tried to get her.
Nice you got her for the video.
That was a cool nod. Jordy gets the credit on that. Ashley gets a lot of the credit for us all being on this. Like, I think it was Ashley who stepped up to the production company and said, "You're not doing a 20th anniversary anything without at least floating the opportunity to everybody." The only thing it was missing was getting all of us in the family on screen at the same time.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that's been missing.
Yeah,
they did it in blocks. I would have loved to have everybody sit down for a family photo. Like a virtual Zoom family photo.
I understand why they did it the way they did. Like the two oldest, the two middle
100%.
parents. I get that, and like with timing wise, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it was cool. Like you know what the biggest thing was for me on that? Like, I'm not crazy big on The Office, but I understand how so many people are, right? Like it just skipped me. No, like it's a great show. I realized in that, like, when they called it, it's their comfort show, it's their whatever. I'm like, holy crap, there's like at least a handful of people out there. Life with Derek is their The Office.
Yep.
And like that hit me in a weird way that, in theory, I should have been able to put that together, but not until we did the live stream did I really realize like the impact. I think a lot of us were just reflecting on that. Like, how did we create something that had this much staying power in people's hearts? You know, like that's wild. And that really is why you do
the sound
this.
effects, let's say, like that's like hearing those sound effects is such a nostalgic
Sends you.
thing for me, and like it just kind of like puts me in, it gives me a warm feeling. And like I know you may not be able to relate the same way because not like they're playing them when you're on set, but you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it really just kind of hits home. Oh, I remember coming home from school. I remember the Saturday afternoon on Family Channel. It's just like, and there's a whole reason I do this show. It's just like a warm feeling, like that nostalgic feeling. And obviously, I know you were a child and you had your own nostalgic thing, and you mentioned about Radio Free Roscoe being one of your favorite shows. So it's like
Mhm.
you had that in your own right, but it's a cool perspective for you to see how like people like me or like the two you did the live stream with, like how we all view the show.
Mhm.
Right. I want to get, these are going to be tight because you and I could go on forever about this. And then I have a last question that I don't know when I started doing this, maybe 30 episodes ago, that I ask every guest. And I don't think I asked you when I had you on. Anyways, these will be we're going to be tight on these one. Leafs. Okay. My two topics for this. What was your whole perspective on Mitch Marner leaving and going to Vegas? Go.
Fuck him.
Perfect. Yep. And you and I talked about that in the summer as well. We talked about him. We talked about Reeves and stuff. Like, hey, if you don't want to be here, don't be here.
It's hard, man, as a Leaf fan.
Fuck.
No, I mean, yeah.
As in general, yes, it is.
You know, I have been for years trying to figure out, as many of us have been, what is the problem in this dressing room, right? It's a dressing room problem. It's a mental problem. It's a between the ears problem. It is obviously all of that. And if you're not a Leaf fan, sorry, I'm about to go on. But if you are, I thought the problem originally was Marner. And when they got rid of Dubas, I thought, and I said this to you, maybe Dubas is the problem. Maybe he was coddling them too much and culture flows down. So maybe that's where the issue was. And now Shanahan's gone. And so it was like, well, was Shanny the problem, right? And I don't know that Shanny was the problem. And now Mitch is gone. And I'm like, was Mitch the problem? And I don't know if Mitch is the problem now because the team is still inconsistent with their effort levels. And now, like, I don't want to say it out loud. Is Austin Matthews the problem? Like, you know what I mean? It's tough. The thing that bothered me about Mitch and the thing that bothers me about the team is that there's this adversarial relationship between the team and the fans. And so, like, Mitch would even say in interviews, like, he would address the fans as them, they, right? Like an entity that is against them. And it's not like us and for us. And the only player I've heard really, really speak to the, like he understands that he knows that he's here to represent the city of Toronto and do well for the city of Toronto and for all those fans. The only person I've heard say it is Matthew Nyes, who like steps up and is like, no, man, like we're going to do this for you. And he's never, like, his effort level is rarely in question. Yeah. And like, I'm a guy that can't work unless I'm under pressure. I'm a guy that when there's no stakes, I phone it in. Okay. There, another admission of jerkassery. But okay, so maybe Austin Matthews is the same way. Maybe Mitch was the same way. But going back to this adversarial relationship with fans, that's what pissed me off about Mitch. And like, sure, the assholes that are sending him threats and death threats or whatever, and creeping up on his lawn, and that's not okay. I'm not saying that's okay. All right, but like, bro, just take it. Like, you have this incredible opportunity in this league, and if he can't handle the pressure, I'll say it one more time, fuck him. I don't think he really wanted to be here. And it really, I don't know, man.
And it just sucks because it felt like he knew for a while now. And like the fact that he was like at the All-Star game or I was Four Nations when he was talking to the guys like Mark Stone, or he talked to Revo before, like he was his bags were packed a long time ago, and that made me
Yeah.
worry about the effort that he was giving on the ice.
And, you know, he was also as dogged during the playoffs as anybody else. Game 5, Game 7, like, he didn't show up either. So, you know, the
Remember
only one
his hair was dry as a bone and he was yelling at the bench? I was like, dude, you're a joke. Like,
it's so here's what I'm gonna do. I have season tickets to the Canucks. And that's a train wreck. When the Vegas Golden Knights are in town, which won't happen until close to the end of the year, I will go to that game. I will buy a Mitch Marner jersey, a Mitch Marner Leafs jersey. I will buy that jersey for cheap because he's no longer with the team.
I'll send you mine. I don't even want it.
I will throw it on the ice during warmups. I will buy the jersey just to throw it on the ice during warmups and hope he gets the message.
Please do that. And you'll see it on TSN the next day, that night.
I hope so. And they won't credit
Please
me
do
because
that.
TSN never does.
Yeah, true. And then my Jays thing, obviously the World Series defeat, that's a whole other conversation, depressing. What is that? Is that a ball from the game?
That's a ball from the game.
And I was going to ask you, give me that story of your little adventure to LA, because you were there for game. I think
I was there for the marathon 18 inning game 3.
It was that game?
It was that game.
Dude, I was up. So the game started at 7 p.m. Eastern. I was up until 3 a.m. watching. Not just up in general. The game went on until 3 a.m. for me.
I know. I was there.
So what was give me your day from when you left, when you got to LA till you left to go home?
Whirlwind trip. So
you were in and out, weren't you?
In the middle of all of this, I was hosting watch parties for the World Series with a few of my venues. So game 3, you know, I was, my brother, this is how it came to, my brother lives in New Zealand. And we were talking about like me convincing him to fly to Seattle for an ALCS game. And he's like, please, if I was going to do it, I'd do it for the World Series. Right. And then turns out it's the Dodgers.
Went, yeah, right.
Well, he's like, it's a direct flight from Auckland. I mean, it's a long direct flight, but it's a direct flight. So we're talking and I'm like, okay, so why don't we do it? And I was like, listen, like, we'll go. And he ended up chickening out. He's like, I don't want to spend, it wasn't even the money. It was like, I don't want to spend 12 hours on an airplane back and forth. And then I was messaging my other buddy in Toronto and I was like, Ben, we have to go. You know, like we grew up watching so many crappy, so many crappy Jays teams, like where Roy Halladay was the only one. Like, you wouldn't remember this. You were probably too young, but when I was in high school, the Jays were so bad. They couldn't sell tickets. So they had these Toronto Star season passes where you could buy a season pass. It could go to every game, all 82 home games or 81 home games in the 500 level. You'd get a ticket. And for the whole season, it was $81.
What?
So yeah, most people go to like 6-7 games, right?
Yeah.
And then 6-7. And then
that's another thing my nephew does.
So we could have done that. And we did, right? And we went all the time. And then we just moved down and we'd sit and, you know, we'd watch them from behind the dugout because nobody was at these games. And I said, for those kids, for those teenage kids that went to all those games, we need to go to the World Series. And I managed to convince him. And so we went. I landed in LA on Sunday morning. I took an early flight. I think we had the watch party Saturday. So that night I didn't sleep. I never sleep before an early flight. We get to LA. We land in LA. It's Sunday. My buddy meets me there. He's coming in from Toronto. We go hang out with my uncle who lives down there. We go throw the ball around. We go to a comedy show that night. So we went to the Comedy Store. We saw a sick comedy show with Andrew Santino and Ron Funches on the bill. It was wicked.
I love Santino.
Ron Funches is one of my favorites. And Craig Robinson from The Office was headlining, doing like his musical piano comedy stuff, which is one of the most creative shows I've ever seen. Like he, as a comedian, whatever he's doing, it's not comedy. He's just sitting there like playing. He's playing like bits of songs. He's letting us finish it. For whatever reason, everybody's laughing, you know, and then he sings some of his own stuff and it's just super weird, but it's funny as hell. And so he goes, so we do that. All right. That's a hard drinking night.
No shit.
I mean, you know, we wake up early in the morning on Monday. So I've like barely slept. and we go to Universal Studios so we can go to Mario World.
I saw you at Mario Land or whatever.
Dude, amazing. Just unreal time.
Yeah.
We leave at like 2 p.m. to get to the game early so we can walk around and get souvenirs and sit there. And then the game goes forever. And it was amazing. Like it was phenomenal. I will say this, the Dodger fans, I lived in LA for 2 years from 2012 to 2014, and I hated the Dodger fans. Like they were the worst. And they're just so goddamn obnoxious. And winning has changed them. Because when we got there, they were so chill, so nice. Like
we've done this before.
They loved the Jays. They didn't hate right? They loved the team. They thought they were going to win the World Series. Remember, everybody thought they were going to win the World Series. At the start of the World Series, they were obviously the favorites. And they were just enjoying being the favorites, but they weren't dumping on the Leafs. Excuse me.
Jays. They probably weren't.
They weren't dumping on the Jays. They were happy the Jays were in it. They're like, yeah, way better than Seattle. Like, Vladdy is easy to cheer for around the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like people love Vlad, and the resilience of the team and the spirit of the team were. It was cool. It was really cool to see. My favorite moment was when it was early in the game, and I think Vlad had the good. He threw out a guy from first, the guy that was trying to go to third, right? So Vlad gets him at third, and I get really excited, and this guy's like, "Ooh, check the scoreboard," and I'm like, "Bro, it's the third inning," and then like the very next inning, who went deep? I can't remember, but somebody hits a home run. Kirk hits a home run, and now the Jays are up. And I just turned around and looked at him, and he's like, "Yeah, my bad." And then
at least you can admit it. Most people
right?
are like,
That was cool. And then Shohei comes up and ties it with a deep shot to right field. And like in that moment, I just looked at all the fans. I started bowing down to the fans, like I'm not worthy. Like Shohei Ohtani walking up to the plate is one of the coolest things. I mean, that was the game he reaches base 9 times, but he walks up. He's got like a swinging version, Michael Bublé doing "Feeling Good."
Yes.
So like every time he steps up to the plate, you just hear "and I'm feeling bad."
And he's so nonchalant too, which makes
genuinely epic. Yeah, the problem with Shohei is that he's so goddamn likable.
And like there's no effort. It looks like he's not trying. I said it to my dad when we were watching. I said he looks like he just kind of like, you know what, another game.
He makes it look good. So shout out to the Dodger fans. We had a wicked time. And the reason we did it, it was expensive, but
I don't doubt it. At least you witness history.
That was the bonus. Like we knew going that the Jays might lose this game, right? It just so happened to be one of the best games of all time, even that they lost, right? But like, you go for something like that because, and I kept saying, once in a lifetime. We don't know. Like, yeah, the Jays could go back to the World Series next year if everything breaks their way, right? But it's professional sports. It's incredibly difficult, and you never know. So jump in. And, I've got family in LA, like the Dodger, like that just felt like the trip, and I have zero regrets. It was an amazing, amazing experience. It was phenomenal.
I was watching the game, so me and my dad watched all like the sports together or whatever, and he probably fell asleep in like, I'm gonna say the 7th or 8th. So like it's probably like normal time, like 9:30, 10 o'clock, let's say. And it goes to extras. It gets to, I think it was 1:15 or something like that. And he'll randomly wake up out of his nap, out of his slumber, go have a cigarette, come back, whatever. He woke up, he goes, "Is the game still on?" I was like, "Yes." And then another hour and a half later does it again. It's 1:15. Erica comes down, for those who don't know, my wife, and like she's sleeping like this because she said she saw it open, like woke up and I wasn't beside her. She was like, "Oh my God, he fell asleep on the couch." She goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "The game's still on." She goes, "Go to bed." I said, "I can't." I said, I've sat here this long, this many hours. I'm putting in a shift. I can't just cut it now." She comes back down another hour. I think it was like 2:15. She goes, "Get to bed." I said, "I may be here till 5 a.m. I thought about it because I didn't know when it was ever going to end. I'm like, do I just stay awake for the day? Do I go make breakfast? Do I go to the gym? Like I didn't know. So I took this picture of myself at one point. It was 2:38. And I said, "This Jays game has been on for," you can't really see the time, but it says this Jays game has been on for 6 hours.
Doesn't even look like you.
Really? I had a big beard.
Yeah. Can't even tell.
I had a good beard after the wedding because I was clean shaven. But I couldn't believe it. It was like I didn't go to bed till I think 3:30. I woke up at 5 and went to the gym. It was a quick nap.
Good for you.
I
Good
know.
for you.
Yes, sir.
Listen,
What?
the lull. I've dropped that. I've
Drop
dropped my
the ball.
balls. The lull that followed, like November, was really tough.
I don't know what was worse, that 18 inning, maybe it wasn't an 18 inning game. The Barger ball getting wedged or the game 7. It's tough.
Game 7.
And I was at a Halloween party watching game 7. I was like, I don't even want to drink anymore. I just want to go home.
Yeah, I want to cry.
It was tough.
It was really tough. You know what? When the Jays got knocked out, or when the Jays dropped game 7 and the Leafs got knocked out in their game 7 against Florida, both mornings I woke up way too early. I just couldn't fall back asleep because I was so sad. Like, that's a real thing.
And I will say this to my dad sometimes too. We'll be sitting there watching, like either getting hyped up or upset or whatever. I'm like, I looked at him and go, isn't it crazy that this actually means nothing to us? Like at the end of the day, it really doesn't. But it's just like, maybe like me personally, it's the experience. Like me and my dad watching all this stuff together. Like when I'm gray, old and gray, I can tell my kids or my grandkids, yeah, me and my dad used to watch this. We saw this moment, we saw that or the other. It's the being together type thing.
I feel like we spent a lot of time today meandering around stuff. But you put in our I'm just going through the rundown that you did before this thing. Me giving you a pep talk at the end of our last episode.
Do you feel the need to give me another?
No, I was just curious why you felt the need to put this in the rundown, something that you wanted to talk about.
Because I really appreciated it. I listened back to that episode today and I was like, I was just kind of being a bit of a pussy, I think, and being a complainer.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad someone said it because, and I said in that episode, I love attention. Duh. I think someone like you or someone like we do, obviously.
Confirmed.
And I do like to look at what I don't have more than what I do have sometimes. I think that's an issue. And you brought that up in that conversation. I didn't. So I appreciate that you did. And I think looking back, and I made a joke at the beginning that I sounded like depressed in that episode. I think I was in a weird lull at that point. Yeah. My issue with this show is being consistent. Currently right now, as we are talking, this has been the most episodes I've dropped in a row weekly without missing a beat, which is saying a lot because the show started over 2 years ago. So that's something that I fixed. But no, I brought it up because I think I'm better than where I was then, and I appreciated you bringing it up. I think I needed it as well.
I got you, brother.
Yeah, no, I think that's why I put it in there and I'm glad you brought it up. I definitely needed it and appreciated it too.
Hey, well, good. I listen. Things have been going well for you by all accounts. Married, work's going well, the show's going well, buddy. You got lots of blessings.
I appreciate it, dude. Last thing that I ask every guest.
What do I miss about being a kid?
Yes, the one thing. You got one thing. What's one thing you miss most about being a kid?
I miss not caring. I miss not giving a shit and like not second guessing. Like I think when you get older, the reason like anxieties and things creep up come from your learned experiences. Like the difficult thing. All right. So like, if I'm trying to, I want to do this content project for the new year, I want to shoot a bunch of 30-second videos. And, I've done at this point, I've done a bunch of a bunch of like online content projects that haven't reached the level of success I wanted to see. So the thought of diving in and putting a whole bunch of effort into more that's the thing to get over. Is like, I know how this could go. I've lived how this could go, right? It's the same thing with like relationships. Your first one, you dive in, whole bore because you're like, it's new and novel and it feels great. And it's like, then you'll make the mistakes and you'll learn and you'll be like, well, now, I don't want to go down this path with a new romantic partner because I've seen this story before and, it's going to end like this. You see all the way. Like that comes with experience. So I miss not giving a shit. I miss being dumb. I miss being ignorant. I miss being so full of piss and vinegar that you just do it because you want to, because you don't care about the consequences, because you don't know what it means to experience consequences. That's what I miss.
The
I miss
unknown.
being an idiot. I
Yeah,
miss being a naive idiot.
I love that. Now, I mean, I'm just an older idiot now, but it's like I always say, no one misses being a kid more than I do, man. Being a kid was the greatest thing in the world. Like my nephew actually has it right. Most kids would be like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to grow up," because I know I did. My nephew was literally afraid to grow up because I don't want to be an adult. I said, "Dude, keep that energy, please. You only
I
have
don't
that.
know.
Keep
I
it for
don't
that
know.
long."
I disagree.
What? Being an
Yeah,
adult
like,
sucks.
well, yeah, it does. But we've also, you and I have probably been telling ourselves that our whole lives. Like, I was a kid who didn't want to grow up. When I was a little kid, I wanted to grow up quickly for freedom. But it wasn't until I was 29 where I looked in the mirror and was like, oh, I'm an adult. Like that, like objectively, factually, that is an adult man looking back at you in the mirror. Which is crazy that it wasn't until I was 29 when I actually hit that. Like,
That's
I
my age
really,
right now.
really, really wrap your head around that. That means from the age of like 18 to 29, I was looking in the mirror and I was like, I'm just a dude. I'm not an adult. Like, I'm just like, that's weird.
I don't feel like an adult.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody feels like an adult.
Like I don't
Like
feel 29.
Biederman said the same thing.
True.
Biederman's like, I feel like I'm young and I'm an imposter in my own house and I'm walking around. And that's my Biederman impression, by the way. No, but for real, like if you were to tell these kids, embrace growing up, embrace the fact that you're an adult, embrace the fact that you are powerful enough to sorry, phone was dinging. Embrace the fact that you are capable enough to have your life in order, even when it's not fully in order. Like, you should be telling kids to embrace that. I think when I look at some of my friends who had that adult mentality from the time they were like 13 or 14 years old, the things that those individuals have been able to do, because they weren't afraid of growing up, they're in a good spot. And I would encourage people, and this is coming from a guy who doesn't take himself seriously, because I don't take anybody seriously, because I don't think any of this is all pretend.
It is. We're on the simulation.
Right? Like, and yeah, well, it's not a simulation. It's just like everybody, like, nobody's a professional. Nobody's an expert, like they are an expert on a very specific set of circumstances, is what I like to say. Like, you can't possibly navigate somebody else's life with expert opinion. You can try, but so coming from somebody who doesn't take himself seriously, I think you should take yourself seriously. I think anybody should take, like, I would tell a kid, start taking yourself seriously and really get a handle on it.
I would, my only counterpoint to that is someone like most kids, I feel like, were so rushed and excited to grow up. That's what they cared about, was growing up, that I feel like I took advantage of that. Not took advantage. What's the word? I was like, I don't know. I can't think of the fucking word.
So many people were rushed into growing up
that they weren't paying attention of what they were doing then being a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's all relative.
I can say that now too. Like, I always talk about how much I miss being a kid. Well, I mean, I have a pretty good life right now. You know what I mean? So, I'm too worried thinking about back then, or I'm too worried about thinking coming up, which, I mean, this isn't going to be forever. I'm not going to live with my parents. Yes, I'm 29, live with my parents. I'm not going to live with them forever. I'm not going to be able to do this, that, or the other forever. You know what I mean? So it's weird. I'm weird.
I spent my early 20s into my mid, and to a lesser extent my late 20s, chasing stories and experiences, which is not an uncommon thing, right? I wanted to have good stories. I wanted to do crazy stuff. And, there are consequences to that. The consequences are a lack of stability when you're older because you bounced around, right? Now, conversely, there are people who have that stability. They've locked it down because they worked really hard to do that in their 20s and they missed out on those experiences. And I just don't know, on balance, like, if you regret missing the experiences, but you're in a point where you have resources to get new adult experiences and still be stable, that sounds like a pretty good way to go, as opposed to, I missed out on stability for all these great stories, but those stories haven't done anything for me today. It's all relative to where you are. Grass is always greener. Listen, like I said, I have nephews. When my nephew turned 13, when the middle one turned 13, I changed my tune completely. And I said to him, Bro, 2 words, compound interest. Like, that was it. It was like, if there's one piece of advice I give you on your bar mitzvah, compound interest, learn about it, embrace it. And now every time I see him, I'm like, what can you tell me about compound interest? And he's still figuring it out, but he's young. But listen, if I drill this into him now, right, kid will have a gajillion dollars by the time he's 25, and
Hopefully, he lets you
he'll
on
be
his
way
yacht.
happier. Yeah, exactly. Right. I can be like,
Because of Uncle Danny.
me. That's it. Uncle D knows what's up.
Unreal. Well, Danny, dude, as always, this was unreal. I think this was our best episode. If I'm gonna rank them, I think this is number 1 out of the 3.
I'm worried if we're getting too casual. Like, I've done this so much now that, I don't get these formal interview questions anymore. Like,
I was when I was like waiting for you to come on, I was just like upstairs, just like in the living room, laying on the couch, and I'm like just chilling, relaxing. I'm like, normally I'm like, okay, this question, my intro. I made the intro a couple of days ago, so I wasn't worried about that. But like, I was like just chilling, dude, talking to my buddy. I didn't have those nerves. It was unreal. Sometimes you need those, but it's nice not to have them.
I hope that whoever's listening to this found something to take out of it. This is a very laid back episode, for sure. Our most laid back.
Absolutely. And a plethora of topics.
A plethora.
Most
people use that word incorrectly. Plethora
and I said your last name wrong, dude. I'm a mess. Anyways,
happens.
Thank you again, dude. We'll have to get you back on sometime in 2026. Like, we just keep looking back at this. Like, first time I had you on, I was only engaged for a few months. Second time, I was a year out of getting married. Third time, I'm married.
Mazel tov.
Hopefully, kids one day, type thing.
Right?
So, yeah, we'll get you on again, dude. This was unreal. You're the man. I love you.
Appreciate you, Quinn.
All right, thanks, brother. We'll talk later.
Deuces.
And that was the Quinn Marr Show.